Hi guys! This is Serka and welcome to my channel where I showcase board games from Japan. Today's video is dedicated to Oink Games, a very big publisher here in Japan that is worldwide famous for their adorably cute small box games with beautiful standout designs. Look at these! They're so cute and small, it's freaking adorable! I think their most famous game is perhaps this one, Scout, which won the Spiel des Jahres award in 2022. And I have a lot of games here, some of their newest titles that I'm very excited to show you. This video was inspired by the fact that Oink Games is opening their first shop. It will be here in Japan in the Harajuku area. So if you're visiting Japan and you're wondering where should I go to buy board games, this new shop should be in your destination list. And without further ado, let's move on to the video. In this eye-catching hot pink color, we have Tropichaos. In this game, you are collecting fruits and selling them, but you're doing so in a place where the seasons change fast and unexpectedly. This is a very neat game where you have to make the choice between getting more fruit or selling at the right time because the prices fluctuate depending on the season. Let me show you how it plays. So we're set up here for a game of Tropichaos. In this game we play as fruit vendors. Each player will get a fruit stand. In a two-player game, the second player starts already with a fruit in their stand. Here we have the seasons tracker. We have spring, summer, and autumn. And in this game, you'll be starting in spring, and the the tracker will move through from spring to summer to autumn, then loop back to spring, and then we'll do it once again and then finish in autumn. When the tracker gets here, the game ends and you will count the score. This is the fruit market. It will always have 3 fruits, and there always need to be at least 2 types of fruits. You'll be pulling the fruit chips from this bag. If you pull the same type of fruit or perhaps a season token, which is this one here, then you will keep pulling chips until you have at least 2 types of fruits and then put the rest back in the bag. The bag here shows you how many of each fruit there are. There's 16 of each fruit type and 12 season tokens. In this game, you'll be taking and selling fruits, and depending on the season that you sell, the value of the fruit will change. Let me show you here the chips. So we've got the kiwi, the mango, and the pomegranate. As you see here with a big number, that is the value of the chip when you sell it during its peak season. And the small numbers on the other side is the value when you sell it off peak. So kiwi best sells in spring, mango best sells in the summer, and pomegranate best sells in autumn. And especially pomegranate is not worth anything if you sell it off season. This is the season token. When this one appears, later on, as you're going to be refilling the market, then the season tracker will be moving. This could appear back to back, so it could happen that you may end up changing seasons really fast and that you may end up staying in a season for a very long time until you pull another one. There's also this special fruit, the durian. This was given out to people who bought the game at the Tokyo Game Market. This one is worth a lot more points when you sell it in season during the summer, but it's worth negative points if you sell it off season. I'm curious if they will have this bonus expansion being sold at their new store. So on your turn, you can do one of 2 things. Either you're going to take a fruit or you're going to sell your fruits. You can only take 1 fruit from the market and you have a limit of 5 fruits. When you take a fruit, then you have to replenish the market. And as we already said, if you pull a season token, then you will move the tracker, put the season token to side, and then keep refilling until you have at least 2 different types of fruits. If another season token appears, you're going to keep moving the tracker, and keep pulling from the back. Another one appears. See, I mentioned before, like you could very quickly end up moving through seasons, because in this land, the weather changes unpredictably. And here we have now the fruits. If perhaps at a later game this happens, so you take a fruit chip and then you replenish the market, but then you get, the market ends up having the same fruit. This is called an overstock. And what happens in this case, first you're gonna get a penalty point. Then you're gonna have to exchange from your hand with the market so that there aren't the same fruit. There's at least two types of fruit. So in that case, I will have to exchange with this. If you ever have 5 fruits, then you have to sell. So selling is the other action you can choose to do on your turn. If you have an even number of tokens, such as 2 or 4, you can choose whether to sell half of them or all of them. So in this case, I could choose to sell only one of my pomegranates because I have an even number. But if I have an odd number, such as 5, 3, or 1, then I have to sell all of them. So if I had 3 fruit tokens here and I wanted to sell, then I will have to sell all 3 tokens. When you sell, take out the tokens and put them face down in front of the season that you sold. This is very important because at the end of the game, we're gonna count the points based on the season that you sold each fruit. So in this case, my mango will be worth 2 points because I sold it in the summer, but my pomegranates here will be 0 points because I sold them in the summer as well, so they were off season. And that's how you're gonna calculate your score at the end of the game. Remember to also calculate any minus tokens that you may have gotten throughout the game. And remember, the game ends when you reach the end spot here at the bottom of the autumn season. And this is how you play Tropichaos. One of their titles that was released in 2025, it's amongst their recent releases, is Petiquette. Oh, this game, from the name alone, it's so adorable. Petiquette. It's so cute. I love this game. So this game is like, you know, when you were doing those like IQ tests and you have to find the pattern? That's that gamified. Essentially, in this game, you're gonna try to collaborate with the other players to find that common pattern that exists. And it does exist sometimes. And it's really fun. Let me show you a little bit how it plays. In Petiquette, we play over a series of 5 rounds. And what you're gonna do is that you're gonna take 5 cards from the main deck. Then you're gonna take this question mark card and shuffle it with these 5 cards. And then you're going to reveal them like so. In this game, you'll see that when you reveal the cards, sometimes, perhaps, you're gonna start seeing a pattern, a sequence being formed. And the aim of this game is that we fill in the blank that this question mark represents. We're gonna try and create the combination of animal, hat, and number that we think best fits in this position. Each player will have a set of these cards. They have the 3 animals and the 3 hats in all the possible combinations. So here we've got the duck, the cat, the dog. The illustrations are so cute. And the hats are blue, yellow, and red. You also get this number disc, which you will use to combine with the card, like so, to indicate your answer. One important thing though to note is that you cannot put together a combination of dog, hat, and number that already exists on the board. So I couldn't play this one because the dog with the blue hat and number 3 is already in this sequence. Each player will make their answer, and then you will all reveal it. If you match with at least one more player, then depending on the round, you're going to receive a bottle of wine. If it's the 4th or the 5th round, you receive 2 bottles of wine for matching with another player. And in the end, when you finish the 5th round, whoever has the most bottles of wine is the winner. Whenever you finish a round, you're gonna be flipping the round token over. Then you're gonna be taking out the question mark card, discard these cards, take out 5, reshuffle in the question card with those 5 ones, and then lay them out again like so. And you keep playing. Do you want to do this one with us? You can pause the video and make your guess. Remember, it has to be a combination of an animal, a hat, and a number. See if you can match with us. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Okay, close. I can see your logic. Did you match with any of us? And this is Petiquette. Now next up, another new title that was released recently is this one, Pick and Packers. This one was released just before the Christmas period hit in because it's so thematic with the holiday time. It's all about delivering presents. This is a tactile game of dexterity and balance where you cooperate with another player, each one of you using your finger, to move around the presents while everyone else bets how much you can actually deliver. Let me show you a little bit how this one plays. Whoa, look at the components. They're so festive. Look at all these cute little presents. In this game, we are going to be, present delivery drones. We're gonna have these shops that go from 0 to 1, 2, all the way to 9. And these are the shops that we will be visiting to pick up these randomly assigned presents that you'll be placing underneath every store. And here we have the presents that we will be picking up. You've got boxes and you've got also wooden tokens. This one here is our drone. 2 players will be using only their fingers to coordinate amongst themselves, moving the drone from one launch pad that is in one store to the next in line. Remember, we start in kind of a numerical order. And then the other players, they're gonna take turns making bets how far they think the 2 players are gonna be able to move their drone, stacking on it presents. Let me just, with the power of editing, show you very quickly how it looks. So here we have how it will kind of look. You're advised to put more space between them because you'll be standing up and moving around. We're gonna put these shops randomly in a grid like this, a 3x3, and then underneath it again randomly the different present cards. You're gonna have some left over. You can put these and their presents back in the box. You won't be using them. Then place the corresponding presents on top of their corresponding cards. And then on the cards numbered 09 and numbered 1, place these launch pads. And on the card numbered 09, also place the drone platform. And in this game, you're gonna be moving and picking up presents in an ascending numerical order. So you'll go from 0 to 1, then to 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna go around and finish at number 9. Each round you'll pick 2 players to be the drone pilots. The rest of the players are going to take these betting cards and going clockwise, they're gonna choose one where they think the drone pilots are gonna succeed in up to which point they think they're gonna make it, and then pass the rest to the other players. So as every player takes a number, there is a good chance you may not be able to get the number that you wanted to bet on, but there's different scoring at the end depending how close you got. Remember, you're betting how far you think that the two pilots are going to make it. If you're playing with me, bet really low. I have very awkward fingers. They're not the most dexterous. So when you start the game, players will take the present and place it on their drone platform. That is the only time you're allowed to touch the presents. And then using their fingers, they're gonna get it on two sides, and then they're gonna move to the next platform, which is here, number 1. Then they're gonna take the platform, the launch pad that was in the previous step and put it to the next one. In this case, it will be number 2, so here. Then the players will take the present, stack it on top of it, like so. Move on to the next location, the next shop, like this. And then stack it again. You're not allowed to reposition any other presents. And here the thing is, and then you move the launch pad to number 3. And now here's the thing. If as you're moving, the presents fall, then your turn is over. And then you're going to look at what everyone has bid on. The other way that the round could trigger an end is even if one present falls, or if you touch a present while you're like moving, or if you accidentally land in the wrong shop. Either way, the round now has ended. So now you're gonna look at what players have bid on. In this game, the furthest the pilots went was number 2. The player that got it exactly right is gonna get the number that they got right indicated on their bid card. In this case, it will be 2 plus 1 more. So they're gonna get 3 points. The game comes with point tokens that you will distribute around to the players. They are double-sided, so make sure you give the correct side. In this case, as we said, the correct player will get 3 points. Then any players that bid lower than the number that was achieved, such as in this case, that will be like 1, then they will get the number of indicated on their card. So this player will get 1 token. And then any player that bid higher than where the pilots finished, they will get 0 point tokens. You're probably wondering, what do the pilots get? The pilots will get score points up to the number of the shop that they went to. So in this case, the drone pilots will get 2 score tokens each. When the round is finished, you're gonna return the toys back to their shop, return the launch pads back to the positions of 0 and 1, place the drone platform, and then the turn will be passed to the people kind of clockwise. So if the first round was A and B, then in the second round it will be B and C, and so forth. The game ends when every player has been the pilot at least twice, and you're going to see who has the highest score. That's the winner. And now please enjoy a footage of me and my partner trying to play this game. No, but it's gonna
Pivot.
No,
I wanted to get it in the
I
middle.
know, I realized same.
Because if it's not in the middle here, it's gonna be shy.
Alright, okay.
Hella. Easy does it. Easy. The next one. 1, 2.
I think Pick and Packers is definitely gonna be a game that I'll be playing every holiday period. It makes for a perfect Christmas stocking present. This game was given out when I bought a bunch of games during the game market, and I'm thinking they will probably have these at their new store. This is Order Overload. It's an older title that they have, but they reskinned it to be for Oink Games 2010 to 2025. So this is a cooperative game where in the original one you were like trying to memorize these different orders, these different coffees that they were saying out loud. And they've done this now, but they've reskinned it to be for Oink Games that have been released. I think this is a very nice souvenir as well to have if you're a fan of Oink Games publishing house. Let's have a little peek inside it. As I said, in the original order overload, the cards are different coffee orders like Americano, Cappuccino. I think thematically that matches way more because in this game you're shouting orders and you're trying to memorize it and you cooperate with everyone to play the cards with the orders. So it really kind of feels thematically like you are a barista trying to get through a bunch of orders. But this one, there's kind of a meta joke with it because I guess if you're someone that ends up having a lot of Oink games, you may find something really funny about having a game that just showcases so many of the titles in the Oink's catalog. So all the cards, here's a couple of them to get an idea. They just have games. So here we've got Insider, here we have Scout, here we have Souvenirs from Venice. So that's just a few to get an idea. Basically, players will be taking cards depending on the level, and it gets exponentially harder every level. So let's say we are in level 2, then you're gonna do 2 times the number of players. If we were 3 players, that will be 6 cards. So you will take 6 cards from the deck. Then one person will take the role of the order giver. They're gonna shout out the order, so 9 tiles, order overload cafe, whale to look, Maskmen, deep sea adventure, boost. Then they will shuffle the cards and deal them evenly to the players. And then the person to the left of the order giver, that will be the active player. And you're allowed to look at your cards. And as the active player, you have to say one of the cards, one of the orders that you remember. You can say a card that is in your hand. Just keep in mind, you won't be the one to play it. Instead, it will go to the other players, where in turn order, they're going to act as the checkers and they're going to confirm or not if they have that card. So if this player here says, for example, Insider, then it will go to this player and they don't have it, so they will say, I don't have it. It will come to me, I don't have it. In such a case, then each player will have in front of them a player token, which is this cute little pig. And when that happens, then that thing is turned over and that player will no longer be able to be the person shouting out cards. They can still participate, like they can still act as a checker and answer if they have the card when me or the other player is their turn. But if all of you end up getting out of the game, then you lose the level. To succeed the level, you have to fill the conditions here. You have to empty the hand of players depending on your player count. So in a 2-player game, you have to empty the hand of at least one other player. In a 2 to 4 player game, you have to empty the hand of 2 players. And in a 5 to 6 player game, you have to empty the hand of 3 players. As we said, then the next person will go and say a title or an order that they remember. So they may say, for example, Maskmen. Then the person to the left, I respond to that. And turns out I have it, so I'll play that card down. Next in turn is me, so perhaps I will say Deep Sea Adventure Boost, which this player will confirm that I have it and play it down. Then this person's turn is skipped, and then this player may say Ordered Overload Cafe, which is the card that I have. So I play that down, so now we have emptied my hand. We need to empty the hand of one more player. So now it comes to me the next turn. I have to again say one of the orders out. and hopefully get one of these two other players to empty their hand. So just because my hand has been emptied doesn't mean I'm out of the game of guessing. That will happen only if this guy turns over. When you've succeeded the level, you will flip it over and then you will go to the next level, and now you multiply more higher numbers. So that will be 3 times the number of players, 3. So that will be 9 cards that we have to guess now. And this is how Order Overload plays. And here we have the big celebrity. This is Scout. Ooh, I absolutely love this game. I mean, it makes sense why it won the Spiel des Jahres. This game is incredible. You'll play this game and it will still be in your head after you've played it, and you will want to play it over and over again. I think the first time I played it, I kept bringing it around everywhere and trying to find excuses to play it. It's such a good game. So let me teach you how you play it and you'll see what I mean. As I am about to explain Scout, the first thing I want to bring to your attention is the anatomy of the cards. In Scout, the cards have 2 numbers. There are 2 different values, whether you're playing the top part or the bottom part, and they're all going to be different numbers. So this card is a 4 or a 7, but they also have it marked here in a smaller number to show you what the number beneath it is, so you don't have to twist it up and down every time to see what number it is. This is very important because one of the first strategic decisions that you do in Scout starts as soon as you're dealt your hand. Each player will receive a hand of 11 cards, and a very important rule in Scout is that you're not allowed to rearrange your hand. The only thing you can do when you first get your hand is to decide whether you want to play with the numbers on this side or the numbers on the other side. That's why I wanted to start off first by showing you the cards. As you can see here, you've got the numbers that are for this side, but you can also see the numbers that are if you were to turn these the other way around. That way you can compare which hand is the better one to keep. At this stage, what you're looking for is a hand with nice combos, because in this game you're going to be playing a lot of melts. Melts means a combination of cards normally found in card games. In this game there's 3 different types. The first one is that you can play a single card. Every time you play a card down, that's called a show, because every card here has a name and a little circus roll, and you're putting on a circus show in town. Here we have Paul that rides the bicycle, or if you turn them upside down, then they ride the unicycle. The melts that you play together are meant to represent kind of a show of circus talent. To be honest, the theme doesn't have much to do with the mechanics of the game, but I think it's really cute and it's so colorful. So you can take, when you're playing, the first melt you can play, as we said, is a single card. You're going to take the card from your hand, and remember, you're not allowed to twist it. You have decided to play the cards from this side. So you can take it from anywhere if you're playing the single card. Let's say perhaps we're taking this one, the 5, and we're playing it down. That is one melt you can play, a single card. The other melts you can play are sets of the same number or runs. But another important thing to keep in mind is that the cards need to be adjacent to one another. So if I wanted to play a set of 1s, I cannot pick these 2 and the 1 that is here. can only play these ones because they're adjacent to one another. So this is a set. So this is the second type of melt that you can play. The other type that you can play is a run. A run is numbers in consecutive ascending or descending order. And again, remember, they have to be adjacent to one another. So I can play these 6, 7, but I cannot twist things around or play this 8 and this 9. So I have to do this. as you're going to be playing this game, I think you may have already noticed a little bit of the tactic, but you want to, like from the beginning when you're choosing your hand, you kind of want it to be in such a way to think ahead of the type of combos that you can make, so that, for example, if when I do a show and I play the 1 and the 2 here, then these 9 and 8 come together, which then becomes a round that I can play. So as I mentioned, in this game, you do what's called a show. That's when you play down a melt. And when you play a melt, you're trying to beat the melt that was played before you. There is a hierarchy to what melt beats what. The hierarchy kind of goes as follows. If it's a single card, you can beat it with another single card of a higher value, or you can beat it with a set or a run. So a run of 2 consecutive numbers can beat the single card. Then a run of higher valued numbers can beat the lower run with the same number of cards. A run with lower value cards can beat the previous run so long as it has 1 more card in its melt. A set is stronger than a run, so it doesn't need to have 1 more card. It will always beat it. And of course, a set can be beat by another set of a higher value. And if you want to beat a set with a run, then you have to play a run with an extra card in the melt. So in this set where we have 3 cards, you need to play a run of 4 cards. And with this hierarchy in mind, that's how you do a show. So if, for example, in the middle, the melt that we had to beat was a run of 5-6, then, as we mentioned, without moving our hand, I could beat it with this 8-9. Then you're gonna take the melt that you just beat and you're gonna turn it upside down and place it in front of you. As you can see from the back of the cards, these are worth 1 point at the end of the game. If your turn comes and there is a melt in the middle that you cannot beat, then you're unable to do a show. And what you need to do instead is a scout, as the namesake of this game. It means you're scouting the performers from this show so that you can make your show better. When you scout, you can take 1 card from the melt in the middle, and it has to be from the edges of the melt. So I cannot take, for example, the 8 here in the middle. I can take the 7 or the 9. And when you scout, you can take the card and then you can place it in your hand in whatever orientation you want and in whichever space. So perhaps I want to place it here so I can create a strong set of 1s. When you scout for someone's melt, that person will get 1 scout token because you took their performer. These scout tokens have the same design as the back of the cards. It means that they're worth 1 point at the end of the round. So the person you've scouted from, they're gonna take the 1 scout token, and then your turn is finished and it passes on to the next player. Then that next player has to beat the melt in the middle. As players take cards, as they scout cards from the middle melt, you will notice that it becomes weaker. Before it was a 7, 8, 9 run. The only way you could beat that was with a set of 3 or with a run of 4 cards. But now you can beat this with a set of 2 or with a run of 3 cards. But let's say it's my turn, so I can also beat it with this set of 3 cards of the same number. You are allowed to play a really strong set. I mean, ideally that's what you want to do, because in this game, if every player scouts after you've played a melt, then the round ends.
And I will play the following: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
No! What? How am I supposed to beat these? Oh, that is crazy. Wow. Nice. Nicely played. So I lose. Wow. How could I beat this? That's why you were scouting so much. Taking all my performers. I was like, when is he gonna play? Look at this. This is crazy. You were 2 and 1 short of a full house. Of a full performance. The other way that the round may end is if a player is able to empty their hand. But before we get to the end scoring, I want to bring up another thing that you can do on your turn. So every player is going to have this token in front of them. This is the Scout and Show token. Only once per turn you can scout and play a melt at the same turn. And when you do that, you're going to flip this over to indicate that you've used up your token. Now, how you calculate the scoring, if one of the two conditions happen to be met, such as if a player empties their hand or if every player scouts instead of showing on the same turn, then you're gonna take the melts that you've won in previous turns. These are worth 1 point each. You're gonna count any scout tokens that you may have acquired through the game, and then you're going to subtract any cards that you still have left in your hand. If you are the player that has emptied their hand first, I mean, you're not going to have any cards to subtract. But also if you're the player that played such a strong melt that nobody was able to beat it and everyone had to scout on their turn, then in the event that you sometimes have cards still left in your hand, those don't count to be subtracted from your score. And here are the point tokens. They are double-sided, so make sure you give the correct side. And this is pretty much how you play Scout. At the end, you're gonna shuffle again all the cards together, the 11 cards, give the starting player token to the next player, and you're gonna play as many rounds as there are players so that everyone gets to be the starting player at least once. I really like this game. I'm thinking maybe to film a lazy Sunday video where I just play this game. The two-player rules are slightly different and it's really fun. We play it a lot. So perhaps, yeah, I may film like a little lazy Sunday video where you see us play. Maybe I'll teach you some tips and tricks, or maybe we'll see how bad some of the decisions we make are. So if you don't have any Oink Games and you're looking to get yourself a Japanese game, you want to get into the Japanese board game scene, this one should definitely be in your collection. Another game I want to talk about, actually want to talk about kind of 2 points. So first of all, this game. So this is Maskmen, but reskinned as Disney villains. And this is not my second point that I want to talk. When you come to Japan, Oink Games has so many prints or reskins of their games that are only limited to buy in Japan. So now that they've opened their new shop, you can definitely get your hands on a bunch of these. Disney Villains is one of these. A lot of people say fits so much more thematically to the Maskmen game mechanic. Let me show you very quickly how it plays. Briefly, this game is basically a shedding game where you create the strength of the suits, and you have 6 suits. Each one is a famous Disney villain. Here we have Cruella de Vil, Scar, Hades, Maleficent, Ursula, and the Evil Queen. This is a game I find it easiest to teach by kind of showing you around, showing you a little bit how it plays. But basically on your turn, you can play a card or pass. If you're playing a card for the first time in a round, you can only play 1 card, but for the rest of the rounds of the game, you can play 1, 2, or 3 cards. The maximum you can ever play is 3 cards, and they all have to be the same suit. So I've played Scar, and the way that the other player can play is by beating Scar. Right now, we haven't determined the strength of any of the suits. Either way, the way you beat a card in this game whose strength hasn't been determined is by playing 1 more card than the number of cards that are on the table for this suit. So right now Scar has 1 card, so I can beat him if I play any other character and I play 2 cards of that character. An option I have here is Maleficent. So when you do that, now you can start creating kind of a strength of the villains. So we have Scar in the bottom, and we know that Maleficent can beat Scar. Now this is the suit strength. Now the next player's turn, if they want to beat Maleficent, then they have to play 3 cards. because there's 2 cards of Maleficent, so +1, that will be 3. The only option they have is Hades, so they play 3 Hades. And now we know that Hades can beat Maleficent and can beat Scar. Now the next player cannot play because the only way you can beat Hades is by playing an extra card than what is already played on him. And right now there's 3 and you cannot play more than 3 cards of the same suit. So for now, the round is over. In this game, you're playing seasons. So seasons can consist of many rounds and they end when all players but one shed their hand. I'll get to the season end in a little bit. But yeah, right now the round is finished. Nobody can play more. These will go to the side on the discard pile. And we know that still for this season, this is the strength that we have. Hades is right now at the top. The new player for the round is whoever played last. That will be me. And again, the first time you play, you can only play 1 card. So perhaps I will play Maleficent here. Now, the other player cannot really play Scar, even though they have 3 cards. They could beat Maleficent with 2, because the strength indicator here shows us that Maleficent is stronger than Scar. Instead, perhaps they could play Hades here. And the thing is, when the strength has already been determined in previous rounds, you don't have to play the extra card like before. So you don't have to play 2 Hades to beat Maleficent. We've determined in a battle before that he's stronger than her. So now you can just play a single card. The strength of this card is determined, and in such cases you play a single card. So by playing a single card here on top of on top of Maleficent, sorry. Now my turn here. I think perhaps I will play 2 Cruellas, because Cruella's strength hasn't been determined, and as such I am battling now Hades for the first time in a way. So I beat him, I can play 1 card more than what is of him on the table. So now we can take Cruella's kind of face token here and put it like this. So now our strength shows that our strongest villain right now is Cruella. This player here doesn't really have anything they can play. Scar is at the bottom, so they cannot beat Cruella with it. And Ursula's strength hasn't been determined yet, so they can't play her because they don't have 3 cards. If they had 3 cards, they could beat Cruella. They could play the 3 cards. It will create a strength indicator for Ursula, but for now, they can't do that. And this one is Cruella, she's already on the field. So this player has to pass. So now this round is over again. We're still in the same season. So I start, again, 1 card, the first time you play in the round. I play Maleficent. And now this player here, they could play a single card of Cruella. We know Cruella is stronger than Maleficent, but they can also do this. They can play 2 cards of Ursula. And this determines that Ursula is stronger than Maleficent. But how do you place it on the strength indicator? You would think that you will place it kind of in the middle, right? But not really, because we haven't pitted Ursula against Hades or Cruella. For all we know, Ursula may be stronger than both of those. As such, in this game, you're gonna now create a new column, like so. And this is where the game now starts becoming a bit mathematical. In this hand I have this, so I can't play. So this goes in the discard. This player here plays Scar. Then I can play a single Ursula, which we've determined she's stronger. And here, as we mentioned before, you can't really play Cruella because we haven't determined yet which one is stronger of the 2. So this player will have to pass. But say, for example, this player had 2 Hades, then they could beat Ursula with the 2 Hades, and that will create like kind of a new strength indicator here, because we've determined a battle. And then you could beat Hades with a Cruella, because we have determined that Cruella beats Hades. So this is what you do in this game. You're gonna try and determine if the strength of the villain has been done so in a previous battle or not, and you can't immediately assume that, you know, just because these 2 beat her that they're below the other one or so forth. But yeah, as we mentioned, the winner of the season is whoever gets to empty their hand first will get this plus 2 point token. Then the second, third, and fourth onwards players to empty their hand get the plus 1 token. Remember, the season ends when the last player is left with hands in their card. That last player with hands in their card will get the minus 1 point. So in a 2-player game, the first player gets the 2 point token and the other player that didn't empty their hand will get the minus 1. And then the season will end. You're gonna reset all these markers because you're gonna start a new battle. You're gonna shuffle the deck, deal each player the cards according to the player number. You're gonna start a new season. You're gonna do these 4 times. And at the end, you're gonna count whoever has the most points. And this is how you play Disney Villains Unknown Order. So I don't have other copies of the other reskins here, but just to have an idea, they've got Pokemon, Hello Kitty, Moomin. They have, what do you call the things with the eyes? The little me. They have those. God, I can't remember the name. But yeah, you should definitely have one in your shopping bag because these are limited to be sold only in Japan. They have a lot of other titles. Their catalog is massive. I don't have like all of them. I would love to if I'm ever able to get more of them. But some other ones that people have commented are really nice as well are Nine Tiles, Startups, and I think Tiger and Dragon. Those are some other titles that you can also have a look at. Today I wanted to show you these and I hope it will get you excited to visit their store. I know I am. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, you can subscribe for more similar content. This is what I do. I showcase a bunch of board games from Japan. Thank you so much for being here. See you.